Now, Mr. Flemmi, could you state your full name? Stephen J. Flemmi. And spell your last name for us? Flemmi. And you have a slight hearing impairment, is that correct? Just in my right ear. Military. If you don't hear anything that's said by either myself or counsel for the defendant, make sure you indicate that for us. Yes, I will. Now, how old are you, sir? 79. Where were you born? Boston. And did you live most of your life in Boston? Yes. Where are you now? I'm in the federal system. Prison? Yes. And how long have you been in prison? 17 years. Were you married at some point? Yes. Are you still married? No. Divorced? My wife's deceased. My former wife. Okay, now prior to her passing away, did you divorce her? Yes. Did you have any brothers and sisters growing up? Yes. How many? 2. And who were they? My brother Michael and my brother Jimmy. Vincent. Your brother Jimmy, has he passed away as well? Yes. And your brother Michael? He's still alive. Do you have any children, sir? Yes. How many? I got 2 with my first wife and 3 with my girlfriend Marion. Did you serve in the military at any time? Yes. I was in the paratroopers in Korea. How many tours of duty did you do? 2 tours in Korea during the war. And what rank did you achieve? When I got discharged, I was a corporal. Were you honorably discharged? Yes. And can you tell us, what educational level have you reached? Well, I left high school and I joined the military, and I got my GED while I was in the military. Okay. Do you know a man named James Bulger? Yes. Do you see him in court today? Right there at the table. What's he wearing? Wearing a black shirt, blue, a navy blue shirt, and dungarees and glasses. Indicating the defendant, Your Honor. The record may so reflect. How long have you known Mr. Bulger? Well, I met him once on one occasion in 1969, and I met him again in 74, in the middle of 74, when I came back off the lam. I met him up in the Winter Hill section up in Somerville. Okay, and when was the last time you saw him? I saw him about a week prior to Christmas in 1994. And did you know him from that period, between 1974 and 1994? Yes. 20 years? Yes. What was the nature of your relationship during that 20-year period? Strictly criminal. How much did you see him during that 20-year period? Probably every day. Mostly every day. With the exception maybe of when I went on different vacations or he went on vacation. Were you friends? Yes. Were you close? Yes. Did you socialize together? Yes. Did you ever go on vacations together? Went to Europe. Were you an FBI informant at any period of time, sir? Yes. And during what periods of time? All the way back into the 60s. It was a quid pro quo relationship with the FBI. They were giving me information. I was giving them information. There was a war going on at the time. Okay, we'll get to that. And at any other time, were you an FBI informant? Yes. And when was that? That was after. When I met Dennis Condon and John Connolly in 74. In late 74, early 75. And at the behest of the FBI, Bulger introduced me, and he had me meet John Connolly and Dennis Condon. So Mr. Bulger arranged for you to meet with those FBI agents? Yes, that's true. As a result of that, did you begin providing information? Not right away. It took a while? About a year. Was Mr. Bulger an FBI informant? Yes. How do you know that? 'Cause I was giving him information, and he was giving it to the FBI, plus taking a lot of 209 documents that were released from Judge Wolf on discovery. All right. Well, were you present with Mr. Bulger when he gave information to the FBI? Yes. How many times? Well, over a period of years, over a period of 15, 20 years. Numerous times. Hundreds of times. Hundreds of times? Yes. And what particular FBI agent were you meeting with for those hundreds of times? John Connolly. Other agents. Did you provide information to John Connolly? Yes. Did Mr. Bulger provide information to John Connolly? Yes. What did you provide information to John Connolly about? Mostly mafia information. Okay. Now at these meetings with Mr. Connolly, who did most of the talking? James Bulger. Can you describe what your role was compared to Mr. Bulger's role at these meetings with the FBI? Well, I was part of the organization. Like I say, Winter Hill. I was friendly with Bulger, and we met John Connolly, and he did most of the talking. He was the one who was really friendly with Connolly. So Mr. Bulger did most of the talking? Yes. Other than providing information about the mafia, did you hear Mr. Bulger provide any information to Mr. Connolly about other subjects? Yes. What kinds of subjects? Different people from South Boston. Did you ever meet with John Connolly when Mr. Bulger was not present? No, I don't recall that at all. So every time you met with the FBI, Mr. Bulger was there? Yes. Do you know if Mr. Bulger met with John Connolly when you weren't present? Yes. He went on vacations with him. He went on vacations with who? John Connolly. Other than going on vacation with Mr. Connolly, were you aware if Mr. Bulger was meeting with him when you weren't there? Yes. How would you know that? He would call him on the phone. John Connolly would call him on his beeper, and they would converse over the telephone numerous times when I was there. We'd pull over. We were together. We would pull over to the side of the road. Or Connolly would call him, or he'd call Connolly at home, or he would call him. Whenever John Connolly would call him, he would return the call. Can you describe Mr. Bulger's personality? Overbearing. Okay. Forceful. More overbearing than you? Absolutely. More forceful than you? Yes. Objection to leading, Your Honor. Well, I'll allow the question to stand. Overruled. You're testifying here today pursuant to an agreement with the government. Yes. And you pled guilty to racketeering charges in 2003. Yes. Isn't that fair to say? Yes. 10 years ago, right? That's correct. And you've been in jail ever since? Yes. What sentence did you receive on that case? Well, on the plea agreement? Yes. They took the death penalty off, and there was a point in there about my brother. What sentence did you receive? What are you serving? I'm serving a life sentence. I'm serving a life sentence in Oklahoma. I'm serving a life sentence in Florida. I'm serving a life sentence in the federal system and a consecutive 30-year sentence for guns on and after. You got life plus 30, correct? Right. The case that you pled guilty to in 2003, did that include your plea of guilty to murder? Yes. And did it involve the murders of 10 people? Yes. Were those 10 people James Sosa? Yes. Edward Connors? Yes. Thomas King? Yes. Richard Costucci? Yes. Roger Wheeler? Yes. Deborah Davis? Yes. John Callahan? Yes. Arthur Barrett? Yes. John McIntyre? Yes. And Deborah Hussey? Yes. Did you also plead guilty to extortion? Yes. Did you plead guilty to extorting bookmakers? Yes. Drug dealers? That's correct. Shaking down individuals, various individuals? Yes. Did you also plead guilty to narcotics distribution? Yes. Did that narcotics conspiracy involve distributing drugs in South Boston? Yes. Did you plead guilty to money laundering? Yes. Obstruction of justice? Yes. And perjury? Yes. You lied before a federal court during the hearing in one of your cases. Is that correct? Judge Wolf's courtroom. And did you also plead guilty to numerous firearms offenses? Yes. You went to Oklahoma. You pled guilty in Oklahoma, correct? Yes. For the murder of Roger Wheeler? Yes. And you went to Florida. You pled guilty in Florida. Is that correct? Involving that murder? Yes. The murder of John Callahan? Yes. Where are you serving your life sentence? In the federal. Don't tell us where it's located. I'm in the federal WITSEC program. And what is your understanding of that program? Well, I don't know how much I can respond to that, but I'm in this federal system in the program. Beyond that, I'm not at liberty to say. You're in a facility, a Bureau of Prisons facility. Yes. With other witnesses? Yes. You're segregated from general populations? That's correct. Mr. Wyshak, given the time, is this a good place to take our break for the day? Yes, Your Honor. Okay, jurors, as always, follow my cautionary instructions.